Hey guys, I'm John. Welcome back to my channel. I've learned something from making these videos. Start recording the second I get out of the car. Some of the most interesting moments happen before I even make it to where I'm supposed to be filming. And that's exactly what happened in this video.
A separatist, oh my god, a separatist.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm making a video for YouTube. You want to be in it?
No.
Oh, okay, well, have a great day.
You too.
Take care. Later on, I met up with my friend Jason Lavigne near 109 and Jasper, right by the ledge. We were trying to get an opening shot in front of his digital billboard supporting Alberta independence. Sounds simple enough. The only problem is the billboard rotates through ads randomly. So we ended up standing there, awkwardly waiting for it to come back around. While we were waiting, a guy walked up and just started talking to us.
Then we're gonna record a YouTube video about Alberta independence. Do you support Alberta independence?
Supports that level of governmental autonomy.
Yeah.
So this video begins a little differently, with a kind of awkward pre-intro before the real intro kicks in. So please bear with me. This video properly starts in about a
It
minute.
doesn't sound any different from Quebec.
No.
Quebec often speaks about independence as a means to leverage the federal government towards, some attention.
Yeah. Are you from Quebec?
I'm from I'm born and raised right here.
In Edmonton? Okay.
So,
Well, he's got a billboard up there, and we're gonna start a YouTube video, and we'd love to talk to you for a few minutes if you're cool with that. Yeah, but if you don't mind waiting, it's kind of really awkward. Sorry to make you wait there. I thought this would happen by now.
I'm just interested in seeing where all of this goes.
Yeah.
Look, I'm in no rush to get anywhere, go home and do what?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I like having polite conversations and hearing people's opinions. Like, I obviously support independence, but I want to hear what other people say about this, because
I support you as a person. And you could believe what you believe.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people who believe some crazy ass shit. And what are you supposed to do from there? Spit on their face? Is that going to help your case? So much anger. So much anger.
yeah.
And even the people with the correct ideas, whatever they may be, they still go about expressing it in such vitriolic manners.
Yeah.
Looking down on people, speaking down onto people. I don't care what you believe in. I care about how you treat people on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Even for the right cause, if you're spitting on people, stomping heads on curbs, that ain't gonna do jack shit.
Yeah.
As much as
Hey, thanks for saying that, by the way. Yeah.
despite all of these politics, I don't think anything's gonna come from the Angles.
No.
I don't think anything's gonna come from the politics. Federal, provincial, city. I think it comes from us.
Yeah.
And I think it comes from a level of unity, knowing that we're all in the same boat.
No, at the end of the day, we all got to get along. Like, however this ends, whatever our future is, I think people in this movement, we sincerely want to have a prosperous future and freedom and, for everybody, right?
Be human. Everybody wants the same good things. And I think we're all disagreeing on how to get there.
Well, you know what, though? I do kind of think that there are some people who, I think that they're just so in their little bubble that they don't see what's going on around them. And that's what really concerns me about Canada right now.
The goddamn lizard people, they don't know what it's like for us mere humans down here. But,
Well, not like lizard people, but people who are thinking everything is fine in Canada. There's no need to worry about anything. Just carry on. They're looking at their phones and the algorithms program in their mind. And it's did you know today or tomorrow there's going to be a bill that's going to pass that's going to make it so that under 16 they can't use social media, but that's going to mean that you and I are going to have to put in IDs to verify our age.
16 years too late.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about all of that stuff.
Okay, but protecting kids, but you got to put in an ID to verify your age to use social media.
They're just using excuses
Yeah.
to further clamp and down, restrict freedoms, rights. But at the same time, what's happening online was legitimately not, I think tragedy is an understatement. We practically, we've raised a generation of gamblers from the onset of the iPad kids.
Yeah.
We gamble our time away.
Yeah.
And the damage is done.
Yeah.
And now retroactively we say, oh, let's do these things that benefit us.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't trust any level of government to effectively handle the problems with people who they're removed from.
Yeah.
How is Carney, Smith, even the mayor, the blue glasses guy, he's not out here on the streets with us.
Yeah.
The solutions are going to come from community.
Yeah.
It has.
I 100% agree. And here's my concern about Canada is like the people. Oh. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm John with my big blue flag. I'm here with Jason Lavigne on 109th Ave. And we were just waiting for that billboard to show up.
And there it was. And it may pop up a couple more times, but we've been waiting for a good 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get some more conversations to go.
Yeah.
And hopefully the billboard and our lawn signs will do exactly that, get the conversation to go.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, this is our prosperous future for everybody, not just people that support it, but everybody that lives in Alberta.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to having some more conversation.
And so am I. And I was just having a conversation with this gentleman over here. Come a little closer if you don't mind. Yeah, maybe just stand over there because if I pointed at the cars, the microphone. So this is my friend Jason.
Hi.
And I'm John.
Nice to meet you.
Tyson.
Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson, nice to meet you.
Oh, there we go again.
There it is again. So Jason, just tell us a little bit about your campaign, what you're doing. How's the fundraising going?
The fundraising going is going okay. We certainly need some more funds because we got way more demand for the lawn signs that we have printed. So we're working hard on that. As you can see, the billboard's up. We got 3 of these across this area of Edmonton, even by the legislature. We're putting on events. So on June 29th, Bruce Party, Matt Rowley, and Dennis Kalmar are going to be here in Edmonton.
Oh, wow.
At Gold Bar Community League, starting at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So go ahead and grab tickets by donation for that. You just make a donation and you get yourself in. And we definitely want to share the conversation. This particular event, there's going to be a public input, which means we want the public to come out, tell us what they think, what are they looking for the future of Alberta, and even get into the conversation about the Constitution. So what do you want to see in there? The right to bear arms, the right to have a whole bunch of other things enshrined in the Constitution. So bring your ideas, bring your concerns, and your comments, and we're happy to have those.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good thing. Well, so what do you think of some of this stuff that he just mentioned there? Right to bear arms in a Republic of Alberta. How do you feel? Oh, there it is again. How do you feel about that?
Do you have a right to defend yourself by the means in which you feel necessary?
Yeah.
It's not just the right to bear arms. That's an American thing.
Yeah. But we could have that in a Republic of Alberta.
I've heard a lot of stories about how people enact self-defense and they themselves become victimized by the system.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right. I don't think anything that's going on is right. And we have these ideas about control.
Yeah.
All of these governmental systems, levels, regulations, all have this hard stance idea about control.
Yeah.
Do you see control around you? Do you see that control actually creating anything good, or just preventing us from enacting solutions within our own communities?
Yeah.
So Tyson, let me ask you, when it comes to Ottawa's involvement in your life in Alberta, do you prefer to have it in Ottawa, or would you prefer to see people here in Alberta making decisions and working with you towards a better future?
I don't meet these people. I've never met Daniel Smith. I've never met Mark Carney. I've met you guys.
Yeah.
And as far as what I know about Smith, what I know about Carney, it's all what Jim Patterson tells me, right? It's all what the CBC tells me. It's all stuff other people tell me to have opinions on people I don't know. I've never met them. But I've met some great people around my communities.
Yeah.
And I know that they're hamstrung in their ability to enact positive and meaningful change in the in their community and the people around that they care about. The weird thing is everybody feels like they have their hands tied behind their backs.
Yeah.
Who really has control? Who
Hey,
really has control?
Can I ask you though, are you patriotic to Canada?
Well, I've lived in Canada my whole life. Of course, it's part of my identity just by being Canadian. I don't know what that would mean in terms of Alberta separatism. I, as a Canadian, would feel a bit threatened by that just naturally. Aside the politics, attack on identity. That's
Okay.
huge.
Okay.
Emotional driven. That's what politics is.
Okay.
But like, a patriot, what? To the system? Am I kissing Carney's feet?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What you're describing here is what Aristotle talked about, how it's like, what's your object of patriotism? And I feel like Canadians have an object of patriotism to a flag, to a system of government. But Aristotle said that the greatest object of your loyalty is to your people. And I'm loyal to Albertans. And I think Canada is such a big country. There's so many different values and cultures and needs, and we're pulled in so many directions. I don't feel unified with them anymore.
Alberta is a big province too.
Hey, that's a really good point.
Like, this is one of those things that we have all of these levels of government that are representative of millions of people. Millions. Being a patriotic Canadian is just as meaningless as saying I'm a patriotic Albertan.
Okay.
These ideas about large-scale nationality between all of these unconnected cultures, it's kind of meaningless.
Well-
Like Canadian, Albertan, it's meaningless. We're three guys standing in the rain.
Okay, you touched on something really good. I want to get your opinion on that. So being Albertan patriot is just as meaningless as being a Canadian patriot. Jason, can you comment on that one?
I think he's absolutely right, because we've been brought down to a level where we actually don't feel like we have a contribution to give. We can't communicate to the political class. The political class just rules us. And I think you actually nailed it on the head there, Tyson. That, well, what's the whole point? You're not going to kiss his feet if that's what patriotism means. And that's why I think the independence of Alberta is something that we can look forward to, because it could be a different system completely. Not one ruled by a king out in England, but ruled by Albertans, somebody born here and that cares about Alberta. So I'm looking forward to a different system where your voice actually matters and you feel like your voice matters.
I feel like my voice matters speaking to you three right now.
Yeah.
Even with this camera here, it's like, I don't know these people.
Yeah.
Who the hell's listening? I don't know. But the idea of like, okay, I'm excited for Albertan separatism. It reminds me of a movie. There's no saviors. There's new management. And as much as I may disagree with federal, provincial, city level, it's all just management.
Yeah.
And I don't trust these people.
Yeah.
And there's a level of contracting the governmental, the constituency. So a federal level down to a provincial level has a bit more effect on the individual people. Likewise, provincial to city. It's just management.
See,
I've never...
Okay, you touched on a really good point there, right? And for me, independence isn't about just switching new management. It's about completely changing the system. I want to throw off the provincial government and the federal and the municipal. I think the real question is like, not should we get new managers, but like, why do we keep trusting a system that keeps allowing for all this corruption to occur? And we can change that with independence.
Why do we trust it? We've been forced into trusting it. It
Yeah.
controls almost everything we see around us.
Yeah.
The ground was bulldozed and raised in the image of these systems. I don't get the choice to trust it. You either comply or you're cast outside. And
Yeah.
it's Alberta. This is not a good place to be outside.
That's a really good point there, right? What do you say to that?
I think he's nailing it, because you seem to be very observant on what's going on and how this managerial class is in control. And Dr. party out of the Ontario Law legal program in Queen's University talks about this. That the managerial, I can't even say that word right now.
Managerial.
There we go. Culture that we have here, where we are all managed, is part of the problem. And this is why I think an independent Alberta allows us to reconstruct that entire system by having a new constitution, one that's for the people, by the people, not to steal from an American slogan, but the Americans started with a republic, which is different than what we have here. And actually they fought against this 250 years ago this year, so that they didn't have to live like that under that kind of system. We don't have to fight the way they did. We don't have to pick up muskets and go into the fields and harm anybody. We can do it through a vote in October.
Not yet. We might need to defend our homes with muskets and grape shots if need be, but...
Well, okay, what you say there is a little ominous, right? And I get the tongue-in-cheek muskets and grape shot, but like, do you think that this movement can be done peacefully? Because I'm really hoping so. That's what I'm working for.
This movement, it reminds me of Quebec separatism. It's a leverage point. Oftentimes, provinces use separatism in order to leverage the federal government to get a bit more out of whatever, right?
Yeah.
And as far as violence within this movement, I don't know. I don't see it.
Wow.
But like, look around you, man. Listen, open your ears. Do you think anything's actually working? Do you think that the system in which sustains our basic living needs is going to stay as is? Moving into the future, I fear for the stability, both political and like food. I fear about not having food. I fear about wide-scale instability, wide-scale violence, problems not getting solved. And I don't feel like the provincial government, the city government, or the federal government is capable of it. I don't want to say it's too late, because I've said that before, and I'm here. I think we might have to go back to the basics in terms of what our values are as we move forward into this period of instability.
That's a really good question. What are our values as Albertans, Jason?
It's up in the air right now as the way it stands, but I actually have a question for you, Tyson. Do you think it's good to be a good neighbor? And what are your thoughts about Canada kind of pushing the U.S. away and focusing on aligning with Europe versus the U.S. when it comes to things like security, trade, economics? What are your thoughts about that?
Canada-U.S. border is one of the most significant political borders on the planet. In the past, there was a recognition of Canadian-U.S. allyship being extraordinarily important in terms of geopolitics. I'll mention something, the NORAD program in the Arctic. And I feel like a lot of the shit that's going on with Greenland is due to an incompatibility with Canadian and American values for what's going on up there. Opening of the trade routes is serious political fire up there. But this is where things get touchy. But we're also looking at the potential of geopolitical, like, things are going to go down. And I would rather have a level of mutual cohabitation with the literal military superpower down south along the largest land border between two countries. Like, if we're looking at this in terms of national survival, which things get ugly, that like there's time for morals, and then there's times for survival.
Okay.
And this is where I get scared, man. And this is where I don't want to say too much, because when things really hit the dirt, things get messy, things get ugly. And as much as I might care about America, Canada, I'm trying to condense my viewpoints into something more cohesive to the people around me.
Yeah.
Because I can't take care of Ottawa, can't take care of the States. I can take care of my friends.
Yeah.
I can go watch a circle dance at Norquest with a friend because he asked me. I can show up. I need to take care of myself. what the hell is the point in trying to save the world if you can't save yourself?
Yeah.
I actually really respect your viewpoint there, the way you're condensing it, so that it's a little bit closer to home where you can control and have input. And I think we agree on a lot of that. That's kind of why we want to condense the representation to Alberta and focus on Alberta's needs. I believe we can be a strong, very fruitful neighbor to the rest of Canada, because it will be a neighbor to Canada, and then also have good trade and conversations geopolitically and for security with the U.S. as well, because we all are in this boat together. We are a landlocked province. We could be a landlocked nation. So we definitely need to carry forward the values of having good neighborship in order to actually continue to do that. And I actually believe Canada will be a great neighbor to us. There's a lot of things that we have in common, a lot of things that we work together on. But I like your view to condense it. And that's kind of where people are heading with the independence, is we don't need to support the rest of Canada and focus on their needs. We can focus on our needs where we can make change.
Yeah, and, you know, you guys deal with a lot more of the political action. We're talking about politics involving millions of people that you guys are concerned with. I can't be concerned with that. I'll let you guys be concerned with that. You'd be surprised how much people agree. And you'd be surprised how much we disagree. But as two people standing in front of me, I have to treat you as people. Otherwise, you'd treat me like shit.
Yeah.
And then I'll go on and treat other people like shit. You guys will go on and treat people like shit. If I actually want to enact change, it's not about Alberta separatism. It's about just being a decent person.
Yeah.
And
You know, I want to touch on what you say there about change. I believe that every conversation changes the future. That's why I make this channel. That's why he has a channel as well, because every conversation puts a little seed of, you know, insight or doubt even into somebody's mind, and then they question things and they get a little bit more curious about other things, and that's why I'm doing this now. So I'm curious though, on a scale of 1 to 10, okay, where 1 is like forever Canada and 10 is like Alberta independence, where would you put yourself on that scale?
I don't know about putting it on a scale of 1 to 10.
No?
It's too simplistic.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't think separating from Canada is a good idea.
Okay.
I think it's a lot easier to fix a broken system than cast it away and try something new. And especially in times of uncertainty like this, big moves like that are dangerous. Very dangerous.
Okay.
But I support you guys.
Yeah.
I support you guys' actions.
Yeah.
I support you guys as individuals, as people I've sat down, stood up and had a good conversation with.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how much we disagree. But that doesn't mean that you guys aren't people worthy of respect.
Yeah.
And as much as your guys' rights to be out here and speak, I might disagree with sometimes what you guys say, but it's the same rights that I have to disagree.
Yeah.
So
I want to touch on that fixing Canada though, because we've tried to fix Canada. My whole life we tried to fix Canada. What do you say to that, Jason?
Yeah, definitely the last 40 years, we have plenty of examples of when Alberta was targeted by Ottawa in order to restrict us of what we can do. In the last 10 years, it's amplified. For example, are you aware that on the West Coast, you cannot have oil tankers, but you can have it on the East Coast, and you can have it on the St. Lawrence?
I've heard a lot about the split between Eastern and Western Canada. I've heard a lot of people really angry about how the West is being taken advantage of. And I don't know. I hear these people talk about these things.
Yeah.
I can see an inability for governmental levels to cooperate towards mutually beneficial items. It's just...
But like, do you really think that Canada can be fixed? Because I remember the Reform Party of the 90s, Preston Manning, like the West wants in, that was the slogan. And we all rallied together here in the West, and we sent, Stephen Harper out there eventually under the Unified Conservative Party, or whatever they call themselves. And nothing got done. And the thing is, they can't change anything. Our system, in order to, correct me if I'm wrong, in order to change the Constitution, we need 7 out of 10 provinces.
That represent 50% of the people. Jason Kenney just said the other day that's impossible. Danielle Smith has been trying for a while. And every single time that has happened, the Charlottetown Accord and the Meech Lake Accord had failed as well. But
all it takes is one person with a sketchy marker. These are pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And we feel beholden to these pieces of paper.
Well, no, kind of back it up to what you said before. It's like we're forced into this. You and I and Jason, we are actually forced into this. We're just born into Canada. This is the rules we're supposed to follow. We don't get to change it, but independence is a way we can change it.
So,
do you really think there's a puppet master?
Well, I think there's puppet masters.
for sure.
I also think that nobody feels in control.
Yeah.
Everybody feels like they're having their strings pulled. It's a giant web. If Danielle Smith doesn't feel like that she has control, Mark Carney doesn't feel like she has control, they don't feel like they have responsibility, then what does that mean for my ability to control and my responsibility to control? If they...
Hey! I love that.
A quick question for you, Tyson. So October 19th is a referendum. That's where we get to have our vote. If a majority of Albertans do vote to start the process to separate from Canada, would you feel comfortable if there was a process, a transition, something that was laid out as a democratic, peaceful process?
I have no choice. So I'll have to make my peace with whatever happens.
Well, you get a choice. You'll get to vote. I'm assuming you will get to vote October 19th. There's going to be a vote to have a vote on a referendum about independence.
I've never voted in my life,
No?
and for a good reason. I think the amount of YouTube videos that you like is more meaningful than the amount of votes than you put in.
But I'm so curious by that because you seem so engaged. You're so informed on many
very
issues,
intelligent.
and you don't vote. And I don't hold it against you either, right? But I'm actually amazed by that. Can you explain more?
Yeah, some people think voting in the system is an endorsement of the system too.
Yeah.
We're kind of accepting it the way it is. Participation in it, I can see how it's taken that way.
Yeah.
But we are lucky enough that the Canadian Constitution does allow secession. The Supreme Court has ruled on this, and Parliament actually passed the Clarity Act to provide a path forward. So we're one of the lucky countries that actually recognizes that if a province or region does want to secede from the country, there is a path forward, but it has to be peaceful, it has to be democratic, and it has to be a majority of people.
My idea about voting is not necessarily out of something I thought through, but I just can't be bothered.
Okay.
And I think there is value in a large voter base going, casting ballots, and whatever your opinion is, vote.
Okay.
But I'm part of a generation that's grown up and seen nothing happen.
Yeah.
Everything gets worse. We complain. Our voices are in the majority, and they're like, who cares? I don't vote because I don't have faith. And I see the value in retaining votership and large amounts of it, but honestly, I myself cannot be bothered. And
You know what? On a good election year, we might get 60% turnout, right? That's like a good election year. And like a lot of Canadians feel that the exact way you do.
look at Gen Z.
Yeah.
Look at how many Gen Zers vote. Definitely is not 60%.
Yeah.
Well, this is where we agree, Tyson, because I really strongly aligned with what you said there. Your entire life, things have been getting worse, and you don't feel like you can make a change. Many Albertans feel that way. We didn't vote our way into Canada. It was by the stroke of the pen. We were basically colonized. And in 121 years, it's the first time Albertans will have the opportunity to express themselves this way. So it may be the first time in your lifetime you'll actually see a vote matter. So I hope you do consider putting your ballot in there, regardless of what you choose, because this is one of the first times in all of our lives this is going to actually matter for us.
Possibly, but
This is arguably the most consequential election ever in Canadian history. A province is actually going to potentially vote to leave. That's going to change everything forever. Normal elections are 4-year cycles.
what's happened with Quebec?
Yeah.
And the whole, it was Pierre Trudeau in charge at that point.
Yeah.
They had, some bombing attacks and shit like that.
Well, that turned out to be the FLQ, which we found out after time that was actually run by the RCMP. That was meant to destabilize any independence movement in the
Oh yeah, political operations beyond comprehension of mortals such as myself. I feel like you guys are part of the system. You're part of you're continuing. You're playing a part in the system in which you guys are fighting against.
Yeah.
And it's important, but don't think you've been captured. Like,
Okay.
it's hard for me to get on board with these ideas because I know that they play into. And it's hard because the people in which consist that build these systems, I've been speaking to you two. I'm not saying you guys have nefarious intent. In fact, you guys probably believe in what you're out here for. You're standing in the rain in front of this.
Yeah, standing there in front of us, in front of a sign. That's where he met us.
So, but
Like, and here's why we're doing this, because we believe this is the most consequential time. This is such an amazing time in history. We can actually found a nation. We can come together. We can correct so many of the problems that we currently have. And I know it is starting to rain. I'm fine. If
Yeah.
you guys are fine, I don't know.
It's getting a little bit wet, and I do have to get one more thing that John and I have in common. We're both fathers of some young people, and this is who we're fighting for. If it was just about me and taking care of my little property and my little acreage of land, then I would have probably a different viewpoint on standing up on it. But I want to make sure what you talked about, which was the continuous destruction and deterioration of this nation, isn't what I leave my son going forward. I'm priding myself in fighting hard to try and get him something better than I fairly am.
yeah, the next few generations, even with Gen Z, everybody is in this boat. But there's some serious stuff going on.
Yeah,
And
Agreed.
there needs to be some sort of action.
yeah.
Any semblance of change, I think, is something at least a step away from the status quo in which is killing us.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's what we're gonna do. That's
Yeah.
why I'm out here. That's what we're gonna do. Is we want to change things, make things better.
Thank
Hey,
you a lot,
thanks so much, Tyson.
Appreciate you.
thanks, guys.
Really appreciate the conversation.
Yeah,
Check out my channel. It's called Talking to Albertans on YouTube.
And there you are, folks. It's getting really bad here now. The lightning came. We got some shots of the sign, but an excellent conversation with Tyson.
Yeah.
And I was really intrigued by his level of understanding of the world.
Yeah.
And his perspective of it. I'm glad
Yeah.
he shared it with us.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Jason Lavigne, for coming out and being on my show here. There's the sign. Go check out his channel and please like, comment, and subscribe. And actually, please donate. There's a couple of good TPAs popping up. This is a really good one. I saw in his car right now, he's got a
500 signs.
500 signs.
Yeah.
And so these are going up. We need volunteers. The signs are free, but they cost money. So if you donate cash or credit card, I hate to be like this, but we got to say it.
Yeah, e-transfer online as well. So the levineshow.com/TPA. We want to get more. And we got a lot more people asking for signs that we actually have signs up.
Yeah.
So if you can help out, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Jason.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll get one more. Who knows?
Oh, we'll get one more. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers.